overturned, stolen even, and that makes me very, very angry. You know, it shakes my whole belief in the society in which we live. It is just wrong, totally wrong.
Well, I'm joined now by Mark Hoban, Financial Secretary to the Treasury. Thank you very much for taking part in this. Now, you inherited what is a truly shocking mess, obviously, and the coalition government have moved very quickly to give us a compensation package of £1.5 billion. But it has to be said this is only a third of the losses sustained by Equitable Life victims. Why is it so small?
Well, we recognise it's a huge problem for a lot of people who've taken out Equitable Life policies. People have waited years and years for justice, and we thought our top priority was to get this resolved as quickly as possible. And so, of course, the last 6 months we've made huge progress in resolving this. But of course, the Ombudsman said we must compensate people for the relative loss. What they would have lost if they'd compared what they had with Equitable Life and what they would have got if they'd invested elsewhere. But she also said that actually you've got to think about the impact on the public purse. And we took the decision that we could afford £1.5 billion.
So that's it? No more?
I'm afraid so. I mean, this is a spending review for the next 4 or 5 years. We've had to make that decision. And I think people, when I get letters from my constituents, when I read letters that other MPs send me from their constituents, one of the things that they want is certainty. Enable them to move on with their lives, rather than having this hanging over them for some time to come.
Well, you say they can move on with their lives, but we've spoken to someone who said it was absolutely woeful, this amount, £1.5 billion. It is only a third of the £4.3 billion. It does seem extraordinarily low. Could you not go a bit higher?
Well, we really pushed the envelope on this. And we are making some difficult decisions. And I think that we've got to balance up how we'd spend additional money if we gave more to Equitable Life and where that money comes from.
But the action groups say they're not going to give up the fight, they're going to carry on with it. Are you saying there's no point, that's it, no more money?
We've tried to resolve this quickly. We could have hung around and waited for months and years. The Ombudsman herself said we need to think about affordability, and that's what we've done. But what we have said is that the people with risk profits annuities will get the full compensation. Because that's the group, Jenny, who made decisions in the 90s. They bought these policies when they'd retired. They have no chance to rebuild their pensions, no chance to put some more money aside, no decision about whether they work longer to make up the shortfall. They're one of the groups I think have been hardest hit.
It does mean those other policyholders may get as little, I gather, as perhaps £600.
Well, what the Payments Commission will need to look at is how much people lost and what's the fairest scheme. But which bear in mind that a quarter of policyholders lost nothing.
But three-quarters lost something.
Yeah, but then I think about 40% of policyholders lost less than £1,000. So there is quite a wide spread of losses here, and clearly that will be taken into account by the Independent Payments Commission.
Well, fortunately, I'm not a victim of this, but if I was, I think I'd be saying, well, very good, we're going to get some money, that's excellent, but yet another commission, another lot of people sitting around a table trying to sort this out. Is it not going to go on for months and months and months again?
Oh, no, I'm really clear with the Commission. I've been very explicit with them. I've said, you come back to me by the end of January with your scheme, and then we'll start to make the payments. So I don't want this to drag on. I know how long policyholders have waited for this moment. I don't want to have to wait a minute longer than is necessary. There's some technical things we need to do to make sure we know where they live, we know how much they're owed.
You don't even know that?
Well, we've got to sort out this database of policyholders. We need to make sure the calculations are right, so they get the right cheque in their hands, and that's why we want to make payments towards the end of the first half of next year.
So I wonder what you have to say to people like Beverly Lane, whose parents lost 75% of their £300,000 pension. Susan Woods, another lady we've spoken to, who lost £30,000. Eric Rivron, who lost £58,000. All of them absolutely bereft now. I mean, what would you say to people?
Well, I'm really sorry that this has happened. I think the regulatory system let people down, and people have had to suffer as a consequence of that. They've had a lower pension than they would have expected. But that's why we moved quickly to resolve this, to put in place a compensation scheme, and that's why I'm particularly concerned about those people who've already retired, who've got with profits annuities, that they should be fully compensated for their losses.
Successive governments urge us to save for our old age and put our money into pensions, but I think there's such a fear, though, after Equitable Life and the faith people had in that. I think there's a feeling that if Equitable Life could get it so wrong, how can I trust any financial institution? I don't know how you get over that fear.
But I think it's by demonstrating you've learned the lessons from previous financial crises, that you've got a regulator that has some teeth and is prepared to show those teeth. But also to say it's not just about regulation, there are other things we need to do. And I think a lot of people do lack confidence in saving for their future. And that's why I think improved financial awareness and capability is a really important part of the sort of the armoury of interventions we can make as a government to ensure people do save more for their retirement.
Do you think anyone has come out of this whole debacle with any honour?
You know, I think that the people who I've got most respect for in this have been the policyholders, who actually have withstood adversity with tremendous patience and stoicism. And it's thanks to their campaigning that we're at this situation.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.